I feel like there is something that is so incredible that is happening to this world, happening to us. It blows me away. Today I was talking to a good friend of mine, Sean Atwood. He has a great, huge following. He's out of the UK. We were doing questions from his various audience members. They know more about what's going on in this country than a lot of Americans do. There is something which is happening, not just here, but everywhere. It is happening at levels and at strata I never thought even remotely possible. People are recognizing that this is not just an election about Trump. This is a change in everything. Another thing, Mrs. L and I were tooling about this eve. We were down in the village and thereabouts. More Christmas trees, more lights, more celebration, more. It's like Christmas is back. We're getting back. We're not seeing the number of thugs on the street. It's like we see the delivery people. Thank God for them. But these hotels with these ominous people, it's like they're gone. It's like somebody just rang the bell, sounded the klaxon. And I've learned something that it's so interesting how all of a sudden people can come out of nowhere. We're going to be talking about that. We're going to be talking about a lot of great stuff and the pardon to answer your questions. And people are still fascinated about this pardon deal, which is more interesting than you can imagine. I hope you signed up for the newsletter. I had a newsletter go out today, and I'm going to do one tomorrow, I believe, on whether Trump can pardon himself. I can't believe how many people are interested in that. But before we begin, and before we start this, let me remind you of something. I do not know how long this Black Friday, Cyber Monday thing is going. But with preparewithlionel.com, I was just perusing about the items that are available, many of them on sale, the Cyber Monday sale. And of course, there's emergency food. But you know, they have potassium iodide anti-radiation tablets on sale. Emergency water bank with pump from Alexapure. Chlorine dioxide water treatment. It treats 60 gallons. They've got ration bars, emergency 2,400 calorie ration bars, survival water filters, a Grid Doctor 300 solar generator system with other accoutrements, various food supplies. Look at this, a pocket plasma lighter with flashlight, outdoor solar powered LED motion sensor, survival seed vault, 100-hour candles. This is really interesting. Wireless solar power bank chargers. How about this? A solar generator system. Here's my favorite. We're talking about this. A 4-in-1 emergency solar flashlight and AM/FM NOAA weather radio with hand. Was his hand crank? With hand crank. It goes on and on and on. Everything you can imagine. So I'm telling you, my friends, Cyber Monday, I think they might do it Tuesday. Who the hell knows? Preparewithlionel.com. Thank God these people are thinking about what to do when all hell breaks loose. Preparewithlionel.com. Do the right thing, my friend. Do it for yourself and for your family. Can't say it enough. Now, let me ask you something. Do you notice a feeling? Do you notice something which is very important? Do you notice a feeling that is happening? Do you notice that there is a kind of a hard to explain sense of we're winning again? Now, as you know, the Hunter Biden Pardon. Does this shock any of you? I was listening. I'm always shocked by your reaction to this. Does it in any way shock you that Joe Biden actually secured a pardon for his son? Does this bother you? Anybody? I mean, do you really think that he was going to say, "No, I'm not going to do this"? Now, what I wonder about his family members, his brother Jim, and other people. There's family members who, by the way, signed up for, I don't know how many of those LLCs and how they organize these payout schemes, but it doesn't shock me in the least. It doesn't shock me in the least. And let me also tell you something, dear friends. I would do the same thing for my son or my daughter, and you would too. You would too. Now, I know we're supposed to hate him, and I know that he is absolutely, positively, 100% a dirtbag and a scumbucket. I understand that 100%. But I want to ask you something. And I want to ask you to see if there is a part of you that can, how do I say this? That a part of you that deals with the Christian ethic in you. Is there any of you who feel the slightest bit sorry for Hunter Biden? It's a very simple question. Fishman says, Joe could be a hero in a way if he pardoned all tax evaders and gun form crime people. I'm just saying. Could be, yes. Crypto says, come to speak if he probably only ran and quit too. Come to speak if he probably only ran and quit too. You got me there, my friend. You got me there. You're writing a code. I want to know better. I want to know better. Any drug addicts here? Any drug addicts? Alcoholics? Pill freaks? Anybody deal with anybody who's been? I'm just asking. Anybody who has a family member who was a slave to this? Anybody? Anybody at all feel? And by the way, I am in no way losing any sleep for Hunter Biden. My sorrow, my feeling is towards those January 6th trespassers who might very well still be in prison now or jail. I don't even know. I have we've never had an accounting. Those people I worry about. Those people. But let me ask you something. Aside from that, do any of you fine people have any connection whatsoever with drug abuse? Typo. He ran only keep the light long enough to hold out and still pardon him. Okay. Well, I see. I thank you for that. First question. There are people, and I don't know what you're supposed to do with this, but there are people who are absolutely out of their mind drug addicts. I feel sorry for Hunter, raised by those two. Yep. Now, when I say feel sorry for somebody, you might call it Christian spirit. I feel sorry. I don't want to let him off the hook. I feel sorry for him. Anybody whose life you lose your teeth and all that stuff and your meth mouth, and I don't care who you are. That's sad. Again, I'm not losing any sleep. I don't want him necessarily to walk. The pardon, I understand. I wouldn't have pardoned him at all. But that kind of goes without saying. But do you understand it's okay to feel sorry for someone and then realize, but we're not going to let you off the hook. I understand what you are. what you're going through, but that's it. Now, somebody said, does Trump need a pardon? Does anybody need a pardon? The thing about pardons you got to understand is the following, and this is important, this is critical. Many times people who receive a pardon actually don't do anything, but it's to cover behaviors which may or may not occur. It's like a potential free radical. Let's assume that Jack Smith were to take something and extend it through some kind of a novation theory and extend or prolong any kind of what am I trying to say? Any kind of period of let's say conspiracy. I can be sorry that Hunter has the problems he has, not for the money crimes. And yes, I had trouble in my teen years with bleeped. Yeah. Feeling sorry for somebody doesn't mean you want to excuse people. I don't want you to ever lose your sense of pity for people. That's what makes us human. Pity doesn't mean I'm going to let them go. But it's like, you know what? It's a terrible thing. It's a terrible thing to happen. My mother used to always say, remember, that was a little baby one time. Circumventive immunity. Yes, that's true. But here's what I think happened. Now work with me on this. Remember something. For the first time since Grover Cleveland, a president meets with a former president as he makes a transition. Remember this. Normally, the president who is in power meets the new president, the new person, and then kind of says, here's where you are. This is where the bathroom is. Here, a president is meeting an ex-president. Do you follow that? It's two people who can speak in a lingo nobody else can. And whenever the presidents meet, whenever they meet, no matter who they are, you may be surprised by this, but they understand something. They are part of a club. They're part of a club. And President Trump is a member of the two-term club. So here's the thing. They meet, and it goes something like this. They close the door. First of all, I wouldn't trust. That thing is wired for sound. They're listening and whatever. That's why Trump has got to spend as little time in the White House as possible. He's got to stay. For his own safety, he's got to stay in Florida. Absolutely. Anyway. So here's what happens. Joe sits with Trump and they say, now listen, I want to tell you something. You did a hell of a job. Thanks, Joe. No, I want to tell you did a hell of a job. And then Trump says, Joe, what do you think? What the hell happened? What happened? Well, Don, I'll tell you. In 2016, it was my time to run, and they burnt me big time, double barrel. I wanted to run against you. I could have beaten you. And they talk just like you would, an NFL coach would talk to another NFL coach. I could have beaten you. But they yanked it out from under me, and they put in Hillary. And I told her, so you're not going to beat him doing this. Well, sure enough, you beat her fair and square. And that collusion crap, Russian, we knew that. I know that. And by the way, Don, she's upset. Who? Hillary. Very upset. Very upset. We'll get to that in a moment. So 2020 came along, and it was my time, and we can argue. And listen, and I know there's a whole bunch of stuff going on. That. By the way, what was this Dinesh D'Souza? Did you see the story about him today apologizing for what the hell? I don't know what happened. His version or whatever. But anyway, and I know 2020 with COVID and everything. Whatever. Look. That's beside the point. And what Joe says was, Don, I don't do this myself. You know that. I know. I didn't do that myself. I let other people do it. I took it. I ran. Okay. So then what these sons of guns did, they yanked me. They yanked me away. Now, Don, I realize I don't have my fastball. I understand it. But I'm still better than her. So what did I do? Oh, I know what you did, Joe. That's right. I endorsed her. They wanted me to step down and let her just kind of, or somebody else, I should say, not her, but have a convention and maybe, who knows, Newsom or somebody else, anybody but her. But I double-crossed them. And they're pissed off about that. And you know who loves what I did? Hillary. Hillary did. By the way, Hillary sends hello. Send her my best. Terrific. We can't figure out what happened. You know who else is pissed off? I'm going to patch him into this. Barry. Really? Oh, yeah, he's upset too. Really? Oh, yeah, he's out. He's out. What do you mean he's out? He was the golden boy. He was the guy who ran the show. He was the one people thought were behind, that he was behind the, the curtain, so to speak. He's out of it. You know who else is upset? You're not going to believe this, is George Clooney. They got George Clooney to turn on me. And George told me this. He said, I'm sorry I had to do this. But they offered him the ambassadorship to Israel. I mean, Israel. That's Huckabee, but to Italy. And they I said, it's like a cluster. Everybody. They're all upset. Everybody is. Spandex says, if Joe pardons the January 6th political prisoners, his legacy might be somewhat saved. Biden most likely voted for DJT. Yep. Joe wore red on November 5th. Message. That's very interesting. Remember when Melania, thank you, by the way. Remember when Melania wore that weird jacket with that message that, what me worry, or what the hell was it? What did that jacket say, honey? It was like, don't ask me questions, or leave me alone, or she wore something. It was a cryptic message. It was a very odd design. Oh, I believe so. I believe so. The problem, though, if he were to do that spandex, his legacy would be nothing with the Democratic Party. Let me explain this to you. This gets really complicated. Remember what I told you before. Remember what I told you, which is very critical. And I said repeatedly that I'm interested in the psychology of what's going on. I'm not interested in the usual stuff, but I love the interstitial stuff that goes on. So you got Joe Biden, who's very upset with the Democratic Party. You've got Barack Obama, who's upset with the Democratic Party. You've got Hillary, who's upset with the Democratic Party. This is beautiful. Biden doesn't give a damn about his legacy. He doesn't care. They screwed him over so much. His legacy is so shot. So he doesn't care. He wants to cause as much problem as possible. And for him to grant clemency or pardons for the January 6th folks would be not he wouldn't gain favor with his party, but the biggest F you to those people. That's what you're missing. That's the beautiful part here. He's pissed because we don't know who's in charge. Hillary is furious, always has been. Remember, she waited out 2 terms for Bill, 2 times for Obama, and then they threw her against Trump. She never had a chance. Hillary Clinton, pound for pound, is one of the smartest, rational people. She just got sucked up into this stuff. She's as ruthless as the rest of them. Now, here's what happens. Joe, what are we going to do about your family? Well, Don, I'm going to pardon my family in case there's any kind of problem up there, any kind of deal. Elon got Bernie Sanders to join Team Trump too. Well, maybe. Elon's also, by the way, working with Nigel Farage. That's what we're talking today with Sean Atwood, his folks. Anyway, thank you. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to pardon my family for any potential, because remember, you don't have to be charged with anything. Richard Nixon got a pardon. He wasn't charged with anything. He wasn't even impeached. Nothing. He just quit. And they gave him a pardon. For what? They didn't charge him with anything. Yeah, but they probably did. And they would have. So you don't have to do anything. It means I give you a pardon for anything that is, from here on out, because remember, there are other potential charges which may come later on down the line, which you've provided for. In any event. And here's what I'm going to do for you, Don. What is it, Joe? I'm going to pardon you. Pardon me for what? Everything you've done. Everything. It's still up in the air, because they're going to dismiss these cases. But then again, can you bring them up again? Can they refile? Are these sick bastards able to refile this later on, re-indict? Could they claim, again, novation, some continuous, I guess, I don't know what the word is, conspiracy or something that you're a part of? In any event, I'm going to take care of it. I'm going to nip it in the bud. I'm granting you. Anybody in your family need one? Nah, probably not. Nah. But you, I'm going to do that. January 6th, you, everybody else. Why? Because I've learned about lawfare through what they did to my son. I've learned it. I didn't understand this. And what they did to you is what they did to my son. It also makes it logically consistent for me to compare the two. And I'm also going to get, believe it or not, I'm going to go one step further. Colangelo is my guy from the DOJ. We filed that case in New York with Alvin Bragg. We did that. That was our duty. That was our dealing. And I'm going to get them to basically, we're going to yank that as well. And I'm going to tell Kathy Hochul, the governor, and you're going to tell her too, that if she even expects to survive, you do not want an incoming New York president to make your life miserable. You think that's out of control? You think that's out of the realm of possibility? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Now, one of the things which is the most important, and I'm going to go a step further. You're going to see something that will blow your mind one day. You're going to see Trump appoint Barry or Hillary or something with the theme being parties are dead. Parties are dead. They're a complete and total waste of time. We are Americans. Everybody in the world knows that you have to secure borders. I don't know where this bullshit came from. I don't know where it came, but Hillary never was for that. Barack Obama never was for that. Joe, what about you? I know. Maybe they blackmailed him. I have no idea. But that's over with. That is absolutely over with. It's over. It's done. Do you hear what I'm saying to you? It's done. And what I want there to be is no parties. None. If you like somebody, vote for them. Of course, they're going to be going Republican. And they have to get with this team. And we have to understand that, and I'm going to say I'm not a Republican, but I'm going to say something. If you're a Republican, the Republicans really made their moment when they opened up the tent, when they I've told you this story a million times, from the Southern strategy with Strom Thurmond in the 60s and 70s, with Reagan and moral majority, with the Tea Party, with the Second Amendment people, with all these folks. This is what they did. If you want to win this, the first thing we have to do is get rid of this bickering. And I hate this one. Who cares? And let them eat themselves apart. Why do I say this? I have it on good authority, and other people as well, that MSDNC, for example, is being, there is a kind of a tumult, so to speak, that is being led by one Rachel Maddow. And what she's doing is that she is absolutely, positively going bananas over Joe and Meager. Listen to this. Joe and Meager meeting with Trump. She's going nuts. You see what I'm saying? She's going crazy. And what's interesting about this, more than anything else, which is so fascinating, the people who work there are going crazy. They're losing their minds. And they're in a tumult, this tumultuous, this paroxysm, this revolt. They can't believe it. They're losing their minds. This is the greatest thing I've ever heard in my life. Rachel Maddow, who is making, if you believe it, $25 million to do nothing. Her day is over. Let me see if I can explain this to you. The Rachel Maddow that everybody loved when she first came about is over with, is done. It's a new day. It's a new everything. It's over. She doesn't add anything. At first, it was neat. She was this sapphic. They didn't call them non-binary, but when she first came along, I remember this because we were at Air America at the time, and people loved her. She was very nice. She was very cordial, very nice to people. She really is. She's a very nice person. If you ever meet her, very nice. No, I mean, seriously. And people went berserk over her. Berserk. Women in particular were going crazy. It was the weirdest thing. People were saying, I love Rachel Maddow. Okay, fine. No, you don't understand. So, no, I don't think you understand. What the hell is going on here? I mean, she was like this first openly gay, but safe, not that weird LGBT thing with a pink hair. No, just a regular person. And she was nice. Remember, she was making cocktails. She was really something. People really liked her. She was unique. She really was. Got old. She started to drink the Kool-Aid. And the next thing you know, she's starting to tell these people stuff which is absolutely insane. So she's getting all these people, and she's leading the pack. She's leading the cause. And MSDNC, or MX, or whatever it's going to be called, is basically telling her, listen, I don't know where the hell you get off with this nonsense, but understand a couple of things for us. First of all, shut up. Number two, we don't care about this. We're going under. We're going under. And if you don't have us, nobody's going to pay you $25 million to sit on your ass and do a documentary every 7 years or write a book that have been flops. Remember her books that she writes? They're like weird. She lived in this cosmic world where she was this intellectual type, which is fine. And it worked at first, but you got to know when it changes. And then all of a sudden, someday people say, you know what? We don't like this anymore. So if it's not for MSDNC or whatever it's called, what are you going to do? A podcast? You're going to have to work because you've turned into this lazy sloth. You're not doing anything. You're boring. We don't even see you anymore. Let me tell you something. It's called the Jon Stewart effect. When you're not on TV or radio all the time, remember the old one, was it Ted Baxter never took a vacation? They will lose their love of you. They don't need you anymore. Do you hear what I'm saying? It's very simple. They will lose their love for you. Can't say it any other way. And you are in no position. You're not doing anything important right now other than sitting on your ass, doing nothing, collecting your money. Look at Keith Olbermann. You threw him under the bus. They don't get it. If it's not, you think she's going to do a podcast? You think somebody's going to want her? She's going to have to work every day to go from 30 Rock with a staff and this and that, millions of dollars, to a podcast where she's got to work. When I was at Air America, one time somebody said, "You got to see this." I said, "What do you mean?" I said, "You got to see this." She gets to the office or the studio real early and writes out everything she says. I said, "What do you mean everything she says?" She says, "Everything she says." You mean every word? I said, "No, she's not. She might write notes." No. So she got there real early. I remember office was at the end. And there were good people there. They really were. I remember Montel Williams was there. I mean, they tried everything. They didn't know how to do a radio station, but they tried. In any event, all right. So one day somebody said, "Let's have cameras." I said, "Cameras? Yeah, let's do a thing where you're doing a camera, you're doing a bit, in front of a camera." I thought, well, what's Rachel going to do? She can't. She has her notes. Sure enough, she sat there and she had like a stack and she's reading them. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe I could not believe what I was seeing. Flock of Shih Tzus says 2016 Vance was pro-Dems, anti-Trump. Concerns he is now up and silent. Possible run in 28 for him. The psychology behind current events is fascinating. We'll get to that in a moment. Because that's the second time, and Mrs. L and I've been saying, "Where's JD? What's going on here?" So anyway, enough with her. The psychology is important. How do you think people are thinking right now? Who's going to get to the front? Do you have to pay an homage, or I should not an homage? Pay a trek to Mar-a-Lago? How do you think people are saying, "Excuse me, President Trump, yeah, I'm your Attorney General, Pam Bondi. Who is this Elon Musk again? He's in charge of Doge. Doge? Yeah, he and Vivek. Uh-huh. Is Eli going to be here all the time? Or Elon, rather? Well, maybe. Uh-huh. There's another one too. This guy Lutnick. Lutnick was there all the time, driving people crazy. Am I supposed to be here? What do you mean? Well, I mean, I don't want to hang out in Mar-a-Lago. Do I have to be here? No. Okay. You don't see people are saying who's got his ear? Who's kissing his ass the most? Is it Elon or is Trump kissing his ass? I know you're not going to believe that. But do you see this? Do you see this? And where's JD Vance? Very good point. Something's up with that. I heard. Remember, we heard that he's going to turn on Trump. That he is Trump can't. He can't run at 28. But that don't be surprised if he is not the happy camper that you think he is. I kind of wait to be seen for that. But your point's well taken. Your point is very, very well taken. Now, let me stop for 1 second. Remind you, my friends, as I told you, remember, mypillow.com. The Christmas deals are aplenty. Ladies and gentlemen, classic collections, flannel sheets, Cyber Monday special, my mattress topper. Holy son of this, they're giving it away. 2-pack multi-use My Pillows, 6-piece towel sets, my slippers, $60, originally $110. My Pillow Queens, $39.99. They've got socks, they've got towel sets, blankets. They've got their closeout and overstock sale. Save up to 80%. Go to mypillow.com, promo code Lionel, mypillow.com, promo code Lionel. I don't know what to tell you, my friends. If that doesn't entice you into some kind of ecstatic sense of wow, I don't know what does. So anyway, here's what's happening. The left is going crazy. They don't know what to do. They've got two CNN, MSDNC. It's not ABC. ABC's not on. It's just one shot. No. That's. They don't know what to do. The country has spoken. We don't care about this. Everybody's doing that damn YMCA dance, which is fine. Why we're doing a gay bathhouse dance, I don't know. But you know what? If it works, it works. And you were seeing something that nobody has ever seen before. And I want to see the Amish. I want to see, listen to President Trump. I want you to bring the Amish in. I don't care how you do it. I want you to see, think about this. I don't know if they have a tuxedo. I don't think you need a tuxedo. I know they can't wear buttons. No, they can't wear belts or buttons. They have, because of their years of what the hell do you want to call it? Bondage or whatever the particular phrase is. But can you imagine them sitting in Mar-a-Lago with a bunch of these bearded guys, with the women, with the white? I think it's fantastic. Where's Scott Pressler? I want you to follow up with the cats. What's going on in Springfield, Ohio? East Palestine. Remember that? Where's Booty Giggity Giggity? Where do they just leave? Do they just see ya? I'm out of here. He never did anything. They ought to sue him for back wages. He never, theft of services. What did he ever do? I mean, now is the time. He's got to act like he is the president now. Let's get going now. Don't wait for anything. Just start doing it. Start making policies. He starts as, if you don't get the Israel, the hostages, excuse me. Can I ask you a question? Huh? Oh, is that thing talking? Every now and then that SIRI will just say, all of a sudden, Siri says good night for some reason. Now, let me ask you a question. President Trump says, if I don't get those hostages removed or released, my friends, do you believe that Israel doesn't know where the hostages are? Since October the 7th, do you believe seriously that they don't know the names, the addresses, where they are, health status, and I pray that everybody is alive? Do you think for 1 minute they don't know? Do you think Mossad, that knows every phone number, they call everybody, they can put a beeper, they can send you a beeper, have it 2 years in advance, have beepers sent out to everybody, which, by the way, is great, provided you're not on a plane with your kids and somebody's beeper goes off next. That's real funny. Does anybody believe this? Do you honestly believe, seriously, that Mossad has no idea? None. Seriously? Do you think, Lisa asked a question, do you think that Israel, Mossad, IDF, Amman, Shin Bet, whoever the hell, they knew nothing about October the 7th ahead of time? Come on. Was it lie-hop? Of course it was. None of this would be possible unless it happened. If they stopped, if they say, hey, guess what? We stopped October the 7th. Yeah. We stopped it. We stopped them. We stopped them all at the gate. They were going to they were going to fly in on the hang gliders, and they were going to go on the motorcycle, and we got them all. Yeah. You know what we're going to do? We're going to still bomb the shit out of Gaza. We're going to just level it. Why? To get Hamas. Wait a minute. But you stopped them. Well, we stopped them, but we got to get them. Who? Hamas. Where are they? They're in Gaza. Well, you think you're going to, well, go find them. Well, we're not going to find them. We're just going to blow it up. We're going to level it. Every square inch of it. Why? Because of October the 7th. But you stopped October the 7th. See, without October the 7th, you can't do this. You can't go in and just basically take out Gaza. You can't kill how many people? How many? I don't even know. 100,000? Who knows? There are people who just were gone. There is flattened. You'll never get bodies, people. Do you really think that? Do they think we're stupid? I mean, seriously, I guess they do. I learned a long time ago, my friends. And believe me, when you start telling people that they knew some stuff, remember when Condoleezza Rice, they said, did you ever get one of those PDBs? Yes. Presidential daily briefing? Yeah. Did you ever see one that said Al Qaeda determined to fly into whatever? Yes. So you knew about that? Yeah. And when Norman Mineta was telling Dick Cheney, hey, they're flying in. You want to knock them down? Nope. Stand down order. I guess they think we're stupid. I guess they think we're crazy conspiracy theorists. Why would they do that? Why would they allow any of that to happen? Let me ask you a question. Answer me this question. On that terrible Tuesday in 2001, on the 11th day of the 9th month, if everything happened, but the fires were somehow put out, or the people were evacuated, or nothing fell, let's assume that somehow everything happened, but nothing fell. Okay? Would we be in Iraq or Afghanistan? Maybe. But unless you saw this, and Pentagon, don't get me started with that. Shanksville, I don't even know what the hell that's about. But let me ask you a very simple, and forget Building 7 because nobody knows about that. Would we be there? Would they say, all right, we're going to the people who did that? Well, didn't they do this before? Well, they did it. They tried to do it. Remember Ramzi Youssef and the blind Sheikh Rahman, and that was in 90, whatever it was. We didn't go anywhere with that. If you did not see this event, would we have been there? Would we have said, go? No way. And that would have been a rational decision. So you got to ask yourself these questions. What would have happened if World War II, our involvement, if there was never a Pearl Harbor? And interestingly enough, under the PNAC document, they said we need another World War. We need another Pearl Harbor. Do you follow this? Is this, do you join me sometimes in saying, how stupid do you think these people are? I want to ask this question. Bobby Kennedy, yeah, and Bhattacharya, yeah, and Marty McCary, and yeah, all you folks. Can I ask you a question? Yeah. Let me give you a hypothetical. Jay Bhattacharya, who I think is just superb. Something's going to happen. Hypothetical. Something called monkey. The other day, somebody said monkey cocks. I said, well, that would be something, but let's assume some variant thing. I don't know what the hell it is. What are you going to do different this time? What are you going to do? Are we going to have our own drills the same way everybody else has their drills, the same way Johns Hopkins has their drill? Are we going to have our drills? Do we have drills? Can we do this? Do we ever do that? Or do we just sit back and just wait for people? What are you going to do? What did we learn last time? What did we learn from this? Because I'm not going to this shit again. I'm not going to go through this again. I don't care what anybody says. You have turned me off. What are you going to do? Tell me. When are we going to see the first deportation? What is that going to look like? What is that going to look like? I ask you a very simple question. Because it's going to be brutal. I'm telling you, it's going to be brutal. There are going to be people who are going to become, they are not going to like this. And they're going to tell you that it is the most inhumane thing. And you're going to see kids crying, and they're going to go on TV. They're going to try their best on CNN. And that's going to be the second salvo of BLM and Antifa. They're not going to put up with that stuff. Are you ready for that? You ready? You better start telling people right off the bat. Tell people what mainstream media are going to be doing. Tell them ahead of time. Tell them, warn them, say, listen, let me tell you what they're going to be doing. Let me tell you what they're going to be doing. Let me tell you what they're going to be doing. They're going to be doing everything in their power to cause a very, very serious reaction. And they're going to do everything in their power to say this is inhumane. Are you ready for this? Are you ready? This is what they're going to do. It's going to start with tell them. CNN's going to do it. They're already getting it lined up. CNN, MSD, and see if they're still around. Remember, they're going to do this. They're going to do this. Tell people. Don't sit back. Let's stop with the Mar-a-Lago parties and let's get down and let's have, where is your Delta force, so to speak? Get real serious with this stuff. Remember, I am not in this for the fun. I don't want to dance YMCA. That's not my thing. God love you. If you want to do that, that's great. I am dead serious. I want to get my country back. I want my country back. Like the great Russell Simmons sang and intoned. That makes sense to you? Good. Good. So flock of Shih Tzus, Mel Spandex, Stephen Lynch, Evan Webb, Crypto Domini, Fishman, I want to thank yous. Oh, my friends. I'm ready. I am ready. I am ready. Wait until I don't even want to tell you what I want to do. I don't even want to tell you what I want to do. I want to know everything. I want to get rid of parties. I'm so tired of our money going to Ukraine, whatever the hell that is, and Israel. Thank you. We've had enough. That's enough. That's enough. We're done with that. Done. Finished. Primary me. Do whatever you want to do. Sorry. We're done. It's America first. And if that's somehow anti-Semitic or anti-Ukrainian or whatever, so be it. I don't care. This is the United States of America, the USA. I don't have time for this right now. I don't have time for it. Okay? All right, my friends. You have a great and a glorious day. Don't ever change that. I mean, necessarily. By the way, follow Mrs. L at Lynn's Warriors. And until we meet again, see you tomorrow. Remember, monkey's dead. Show's over. Sue ya. Dead.